What's going on, everybody? Hey, finally, it's here, the Nicktendo Direct Podcast. What's going on, everybody? We are back with another NDP.
But we're going to see a spike in free-to-play games, mark my words, and they're going to do this battle pass model.
Then strike three, you're putting copyright claims on whoever uploads your video. So
whoa,
now,
I didn't know that part.
That thing for like $20, something like that.
When we get this YouTube money, Nick.
The only reason, guys, yo, you alright, bro?
So guys, do you guys want to know the best experience for Fortnite? Let's take a good look. Y'all gonna drop kick you.
Oh my goodness, he said mic check. Oh gosh, man, here we go. We just starting off the rails. What's going on, everybody? How we doing? How we doing today? Yeah, man, we just started. Hey, show's off the rails already, I guess. But either way, we got some good topics for you guys tonight. We also got some good guests tonight. David, what's going on? Mercenary, what's going on? Courtney, Stitch, thank y'all for stopping by. Hit that like button. Let's get to 10 likes before we get this thing rolling. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel for tonight. I got two newbies and I got Abaddon as always. Abaddon, thanks for stopping by, bro. How you been, man? How was your day?
My day was good. Got up, had a good day. Came home, slept twice. Not once, but twice.
Twice?
Yes.
Got two naps in.
Yes.
Lucky you, man. I didn't get any naps in, but that was my choice because I was watching that football.
Yeah, after the game, I was just like, "You won!" Boom.
Okay.
Yeah, what?
Okay.
Say so. Did your team win?
I don't want to hear that. Y'all beat the Texans. Okay, cool story. Anyway, so that's the homie Abaddon, aka Patriots fan. I don't know why, but we got two new dudes here. Skits. It's Skits. What's going on, my dude?
What's good? How's everybody going?
Doing good, man. We're doing good, feeling good. How's everything going for you, bro?
I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm on your stream, so I'm good.
there you go. There we go. And last but not least, the homie Super Andrew 64. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Excited to be here. First podcast ever, and let's see how this goes.
It's his first podcast ever. I'm just telling you right now, bro, don't be nervous. Just be laid back. We're just talking games. We're talking games.
Just talking to friends, man. That's all you're
talking to
doing.
friends. We talking games. But either way, we got some good. What I think are good, juicy topics for today. First, we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct last week was delayed and the situation there. Also, apparently, Nintendo Cloud saves. There's a little bit of controversy out there, a little bit of debacle, I guess. 2K CEO says microtransactions are an unfortunate reality of gaming now. So we're gonna talk about that and what we think about these microtransactions in games. Ubisoft and Nintendo, are they BFFs, best friends forever? I don't know. And Square Enix talking about a sequel to Octopath Traveler. So let's go ahead and start on something light before we get into the heavy here. Let's go ahead and talk about Ubisoft and Nintendo. So apparently there's a love fest between Ubisoft CEO and Miyamoto. Apparently they're best friends, they're BFFs, they got a good relationship, and apparently that relationship is starting to, I guess you could say fester, but that's not a good word. Fester is a negative word. We don't want to say fester, but
it's starting to manifest itself more.
There you go. It's starting to manifest itself more into, support from Ubisoft. Ubisoft seems to be very interested in what's going on with Nintendo. We got Starlink, Mario Rabbids, and apparently the Ubisoft CEO says this relationship goes back to the Wii and the Wii U days. So we got it there. Mercenary Gaming says Blossom. So let's go ahead and just talk about that real quick. And the fact that how Nintendo seems to be getting more and more relationships with other companies, more and more. And it seems like Nintendo is kind of on everybody's good side nowadays. So let's talk. Andrew, what do you think about this, man? Uh-oh. Is he gone?
Andrew?
Is he frozen? You there, Andrew? Oh, no.
Andrew? Andrew? Andrew!
Hello?
Oh, you there, bro? You there? You good? You good?
Sorry, you like lagged out for me. I didn't hear anything.
Okay. All right. So no, I was talking about Ubisoft and the relationship
sorry.
between Ubisoft and Nintendo, and they seem to be best friends, and how it's starting, that relationship starting to blossom into content for Nintendo. I was gonna say, what do you think about this news that these guys seem to be like best friends and BFFs, and everything's all good with Nintendo?
Yeah, well, like you said, like it goes back to the Wii and like Wii U days. With the Wii U, Ubisoft was they were supporting them like throughout the whole cycle, like even with launch. I think like games like Zombie U, Assassin's Creed, they were always supporting them, even if they weren't like gonna sell a lot of copies. They always wanted like Nintendo to, they always want to have a good partnership with Nintendo.
Yes, sir. What do you think? What do you think, Skits? What do you think about this?
I mean, it's not really that big of a surprise, especially with everything that was going on with Ubisoft recently, where they were looking at like a possible hostile takeover, right?
Mm-hmm.
So making friends with someone huge like Nintendo, especially publicly, I mean, we've had it like this, the Wii and the Wii U days, they were already there, but now it's this huge public open forum that they're really close. We're going to start getting some good games out of that. It makes a lot of sense to make partners with one of the largest gaming industries or companies on the market right now.
Yeah, real quick question. What games that Ubisoft has put out on Nintendo, like what are some of your guys' favorites? Just real quick.
I would say instantly Assassin's Creed 3, even though I like it on a PlayStation 3. Assassin's Creed is a good one. They had a lot of games actually, but right now my absolute favorite as of right now has to be Mario & Rabbids.
Yes,
believe it or not, I love Mario & Rabbids. The game is really
Mario Rabbids is just really good. So
it really is really good. Like that game, like I said in Abaddon's podcast, that game surprised me. Like last year, that was one of the better games that I played, and I could not believe like how good that game was. I thought it was gonna be really, really stupid and kiddish and just not good. And my wife was like, "Well, we got to get it." She really wanted it. So once again, like as you guys can't tell, there's a lot of good purchases that I make when my wife makes the decision, which is kind of funny.
Listen to your wife.
Listen to your wife. Abaddon, what do you think about this relationship with Ubisoft and Nintendo?
Before I get into that, Andrew, that is a beautiful Spider-Man box on your bed in the background.
Yo.
Thank you. It wasn't cheap.
He said it wasn't cheap.
But to get in my thoughts with this, it comes no surprise to me. As mentioned, they've been supporting Nintendo since the Wii days. So we need to understand something. They've been there for Nintendo in their darkest days, as far as the whole time with the Wii U.
True.
When everyone jumped ship and left Nintendo, Ubisoft was still there. And ironically, Ubisoft has the largest third-party game selling on the Nintendo Switch right now, which is Mario & Rabbids, which sold over 2 million copies already. So this is something that I have to say it needs to be acknowledged. The next game that's coming up on its heels, which we could comfortably say is Octopath Traveler with Square Enix, but that's another company that was with Nintendo back in the day, Square Enix and Ubisoft. The fact that Nintendo has both of these companies backing them in terms of their one-player games, I feel that they're set. This is a start of a great relationship, and this is the proof of a great relationship because they've been with Nintendo for a long time. Right. And looking at the fact that we're getting Starlink next month,
I can't wait.
I'm interested in seeing how many day one purchases we're going to get from that, because Nintendo heard us, and it's like they gave full creative control to Ubisoft and said, you know what, we can trust you with one of our IPs. And they gave them Star Fox, and I'm just blown away that they gave us a Star Fox game
without doing it.
Exactly.
Without doing it. Yeah, it seems like the Mario Rabbids, the relationship there, and they were satisfied enough with Mario plus Rabbids that they kind of felt like, okay, we can trust you guys with another IP, trust you to do it right, give us the right game, and give us the right idea, and we can trust you with the Dumb Guy Gaming. What's going on, bro? Thank you for stopping by, bro. How are you today? Yeah, like I was saying, like, it seems like they just saw it and they said, we can trust these dudes. We can trust this company with our property a little bit, and we'll give them. They got this game with Starfighters and all this stuff. Hey, we got the perfect character for you, Star Fox. I don't feel like making the game, so you guys can go ahead and make the game. All that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's neat to see the sort of, I guess you could say, love fest between the two. It's awesome. It's good to see these relationships in the gaming industry. So let's go on ahead and move on to the next topic. That one was a little light. Let's go ahead and talk about the Nintendo Direct being postponed. I don't want to say canceled because it wasn't canceled, but let's talk about it being postponed until is the date official? Someone in the chat said the 13th. Is that the official date? Or do we know?
I don't think
if
it's been
official?
Announced officially yet. Just like the
it wasn't. It's just rumors.
Right, the rumors from the So there was data miners, going through Splatoon and guessing that it would be the 13th, which seems like a decent guess. I mean, I guess it's a decent guess. But first off, let's just talk about the tragedy that happened in Hokkaido, because like we talked about this earlier, and people were out here mad that they didn't get the Direct. They said, "Who cares? Who cares? It's just an earthquake. You guys, it's already pre-recorded. It's not like you guys are actually, out here doing it live." And we've seen that side. And there's also been a good positive side from the community saying, "You know what? We understand. That's the culture. Good on Nintendo for delaying it." I mean, we've had conversations about it, and we were all with it. But just the situation is horrific. The amount of people that have been missing or injured or dead, and the amount of damage, landslides, everything was just catastrophic. And so, Abaddon, I'll have to let you take the reins first, because I know that you had something. It's like there were some things out there that aggravated you about the whole situation, especially in the Twitter world. So go ahead and you start with this one.
Yeah, on the Twitter world, and I want to say this is the vocal minority. I want to make this clear. It's the vocal minority who starts this, but they're the ones who kind of like get the most attention. And it's people who are saying things like, the director, oh my gosh, why is the Direct canceled? It's like this, like you said, this was pre-recorded. It even happened on the same side of Japan. And to me, it made me consider, like, is there a video game addiction that people don't want to talk about now? Because how displaced do you have to be to not understand that people died right now? Like, people are homeless. There are people who cannot say hi to their mommy, their daddy, their children. God forbid. It's like we don't know how many people are still lost. At that point, when I did talked about it on my showcast, we didn't know how many people were lost. We don't know anything. So the fact is, to me, video games should have been lasting on everyone's mind. If you want to say that you're thinking about the larger picture, video games could wait. We all know. All of us are adults. Half of us, more than everyone here, we go to our own day jobs, go to work, come back home. Video games is an outlet for enjoyment. But when it becomes something greater than that, then I feel like that's something that we need to address in the community itself, because that needs to be checked. Yeah. Because if that goes unchecked, then that leaves the door open for people to place their agendas on all gamers. And that's something that I would like to mitigate early. So that's why I felt the way I did about the whole thing. Now, there were some people who were saying things, and I get it, but the sentiment still kind of bothers me, because I get, being disappointed that there's no Direct. I get that sentiment, but I also get people who, what I don't get is, after you hear people died, you're still disappointed. And I'm like,
right, man.
Everyone who said that they was disappointed, it was up until the point you heard what happened. And it was like, oh, forget that. Video games could wait. There was still people was like, but I understand. It's like, just an earthquake. It's almost like, yeah, it happens. It's not, I don't think people were really processing that this was a major earthquake. It's the Richter scale goes up to 7. This was a 6.6 earthquake. It was a super powerful earthquake that happened. A huge natural disaster. Like, literally, when Hurricane Katrina happened here in the States, you heard that all over the news. Yep.
They canceled, and they even canceled a whole weekend of football for 9/11. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if a tragedy happens here, we understand, but if it happens somewhere else, people don't. And like I mentioned, I'm taken aback by the culture in Japan, where they have the foresight and the ability to say, you know what, this doesn't matter. Let's take a step back. I absolutely love it. Skits, what do you think about this situation, man? You know, just what are your thoughts on it altogether?
Like, it's one of those things, right? And I saw earlier today, I don't know if anyone else did, but like the Sun, the newspaper, the Sun, put out a report that a vast majority of gamers were upset about, you know, not hearing about video games.
That's
And
my
you look
point.
at that statement, and it's very clearly not a vast majority. It's a huge minority. Nobody is that big. Like, nobody's that upset. The people that are probably people who don't play on a majority of the time like the rest of us do. The people who show up here and do this kind of stuff. But you know, they're upset by, oh, well, it's just an earthquake, and you know, how can that be affected, and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people forget that, like, the earthquake in California in the late 80s, like, that shut down the industry, that shut down movie production, that shut down sports events, that shut down, I think Las Vegas shut down for like 3 days to send support to California for help, because it almost leveled, you know, 2 major cities. And compared to what just happened in Japan, that earthquake would be considered nothing.
Right. I mean, it was unreal. Like Evan said, one of the biggest earthquakes ever. Landslides and floods, and if an earthquake's causing landslides and floods and all sorts of stuff, you know, it's huge.
Right. And the people who are upset about it are not the majority, right? It's a very small minority of people who just happen to have a large platform.
Exactly. And thank you, Skits, for so much for mentioning that article, because that was one of my concerns, that the vocal minority will say so much that a reporter will see only the vocal minority and inflate that to be it's the majority of us, and that needs to be checked. That's why.
Well, it's the same thing that happened with like violence in video games, right? Two people did something violent in the 90s and blamed it on video games, and suddenly video games are violent and everybody who plays video games is violent. It's this small minority that causes a huge issue.
Right.
Always.
Right.
And that's why, you know, I get it why, you know, YouTubers we follow, they call out this type of stuff, because if you let the vocal minority go unchecked, that's how stuff like this article happens.
Yeah, Dumb Guy Gaming says, I feel this shows an issue that rears its ugly head in comment sections and people feel entitled. It's definitely the minority. Yeah, 100%.
I'd also like to point out that everybody who complained was 100% American. So,
I mean,
it's not a gaming addiction like Abaddon was talking about.
Yeah.
This is an American problem.
It's a culture problem.
Well, it's not even that. We live in the age, especially here in America, of instant gratification. I get what I want, and nothing else matters.
Yeah, true.
That's a problem here, and it's only here. Not a single person who complained that I can find, that I have scoured and looked, not a single person who complained was un-American.
I mean, that's
100%.
Fair enough. Speaking of Americans, Andrew from Canada, what do you think about this situation?
Well, I think Nintendo did the right thing by postponing the Direct. I'm sure it affected a lot of people in their office, and my guess they probably maybe shut down for the day. And just like any natural disaster, like any disaster, people come first before video games, and you just have to make sure that those people are taken care of before anything else is taken care of. Right. So I think good on Nintendo for postponing it.
According to this privileged Americans thinking they always gotta have their way. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, that's it. And Andrew and Nick should collab in music. Hey, maybe I see that guitar in the background. So maybe we should. And you also, hey, you got that Super Mario cereal box? Where'd you get the Super Mario cereal box?
Oh, me? I got it in like Buffalo area.
Yeah, I had one, and then I ate it, and then I didn't. And I didn't keep the box.
Come on, Nick.
I didn't keep the box either.
Yeah, I got a box for me to try. I didn't like it.
So yeah, I didn't like it either, but I didn't eat it. I was like, I'm not gonna start this and not finish it.
Yeah.
So I did.
That is also an American problem.
Hey, there you go. We got a lot of problems over here in America. But like I was saying, it's crazy. Skids, I don't know where did you say you found that article about people being mad about it? Because I found one in the New York Post.
It's the Sun.
Sun. Okay.
You know, they're like a Midwest, but a lot of people see them more as like the National Enquirer at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I saw on the New York Post, and I thought that was funny, and they were saying fans upset that Nintendo delays Direct, and they had quotes, and some of those quotes were just terrible. And you know, like we said, we live in an age of instant gratification and you get what you want, but people, come on, like if you were in a profession or you had your job and you had to do something and something tragic happened to you, you would want your job to understand, to give you time off, right? Like everybody would want that. And so the only thing I can say is what you want, you should probably want for other people, because that's just, karma can come back to get you. That's all I'm going to say about that one. So,
for sure.
So moving on from that, data miners went ahead and are predicting that the date's going to be September 13th, which it would be a week from the delay. Do you guys think that that's possible? Do you guys think that's a good date, or do you think they should wait a little bit longer? What do you think about that one? Like, when do you think they should possibly just go ahead and put the Direct out, or if they even should? Because we have constant leaks.
A week is definitely long enough, in my opinion, as long as they've gotten some type of resolution or support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
It's different if, you know, because at this point, they said maybe it's rude or whatever, but it's been said, like, it's pre-recorded. We know that. Giving a week of silence for, you know, reason of support or anything like that, I get. But I think anything after that, like, and maybe that's this again is the American in me, where it's like after that it's back to business as usual.
Yeah.
You know, you get 3 days off for the death in a family in America, so maybe it's just the American in me. But like after a week, I feel like it's time to go ahead and move forward with business.
I would say the Direct, or people are just going to continue to leak stuff until there's nothing left to announce. I mean, that's true, and that's the point we're trying to make. What do you think they do with the stuff that's leaked? You think they just take it out completely, or
what I will
just go along with it? That's what I would do. Like,
what you got, Abaddon?
What I will say is they probably would just not reshoot, but edit some of the parts out, even though it's pre-recorded. You know, we all do video,
right?
Some type of videography here, so you know what it's like. That all it is just going in and touching up a few parts and say, instead of released September 7th, available today.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do.
You could do something short like that. I want to make a point that it's only the third parties that was released, and not the first party stuff. The only hint of the first party stuff that was released was Yoshi.
Yeah.
After that, we don't know anything else first party wise, so it could still be a solid Direct. Also in this Direct, which I mentioned in a conversation with one of my subscribers the other night, was this Direct can actually showcase some information about the Nintendo Switch Online. Since it's the Nintendo Direct, I would say that it is something that we could finally see some real information regarding the Nintendo Switch Online service.
Yes, that's what I want. And speaking of the Nintendo Online service, let's just go ahead and segue into, I mean, I guess these are controversies. So apparently there was a list of games that came out about the cloud saves, because remember, in the Nintendo Switch Online service, cloud save data was supposed to be included, but come to find out, there are some games that do not support such cloud saves, and some of these I feel are significant.
oh man,
Splatoon 2 is a big one. If you get your stuff deleted or your stuff's corrupted, you lose all of your items. You lose all of your guns, all of your armor, your shirts, whatever you purchased in there, you lose all of that. And that, I feel, is a big deal. Also, the future games coming out, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and Dark Souls. I mean, anybody here who's played an RPG game knows that you need to save, and it'd probably be nice to have a backup in case your file gets corrupted. How many times has your file been corrupted back in the day on your memory card, PlayStation 1, and you got to start all over? I feel like we're past that. That's a big deal. Like I said, Dark Souls, Dead Cells, which I feel like, okay, Dead Cells, it's a kind of indie game, but I mean, still that's a big deal. FIFA and 2K19, and as I mentioned beforehand, 2K19, like, there's been a lot of bugs and glitches in 2K already. For them not to have cloud save data for a game like that is also a big deal. Nintendo listed Monday as a 10-hour downtime in eShop on their site. I wonder what for. But regardless, with this, Nintendo came out with the reason saying that the reason why there's no cloud save backups for certain games is because of cheating and hacking, which doesn't.
That's a legitimate example. That's a legitimate reason. Honestly,
you say it's legitimate. Go ahead, Avalon. You go ahead and take the reins. Why do you say that's legitimate?
That's legitimate because who here plays Splatoon too often, and who played against hackers?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so imagine if those hackers could re-roll, find a way to always get the perfect guns in a legal way. Then now, because of those cloud saves, they don't have to hack the system or homebrew their system anymore.
I mean, true, fair enough, but
now, hold on. My fault. What do you want to say?
I was gonna say, but I mean, that's up to Nintendo to find a way to prevent that from happening, so we can have this service.
Now, I've been hearing that a lot, so I want to challenge everybody. If we make it seem like it's that simple, wouldn't Nintendo have done that already? What if they're having issues with the infrastructure of their system to actually find a way? Because this is not a home console by itself.
They did find a way. This is the solution.
Well, I was going to say, I actually wanted to top on something, because this is something this is one of the biggest pet peeves of mine. And I want to remind everybody, none of us are in those back office meetings of Nintendo. So none of us know the end game. We only know just little tits and bits of it. That response is just like a little response. It's not a whole thing of Nintendo presenting the service. So at the end of the day, you don't know, alongside that message, they're going to say, but we will be introducing free local backups for every Nintendo Switch game.
I mean, that would be what they need to do for that, at least.
But what if you see? That's the thing. Knee-jerk reactions. We're not even waiting for Nintendo to respond. That's my point. Nintendo has not given it a full release yet, and everyone is losing their minds.
Well, to be fair in that statement, though, now, and maybe I'm misunderstanding. I don't know for sure, because I haven't heard a lot about this. Was this information from Nintendo, or was this a leak?
Nintendo responded in an interview because Game Informer asked them a question about certain games about having clouds, because they went through the fine print of all the games that would or would not support cloud save.
Okay,
so they responded.
From a business standpoint, though, they shouldn't have released that information. I mean, come on, we already knew it was going to blow up. They knew. If we know, they know that not having cloud saves for every game was going to cause backlash. So it would have been as simple as, we don't want to touch on that topic at this moment. If they're not ready to give all, they can't give some and expect the audience to understand.
I would say and
that's from a business standpoint. That's from somebody who kind of does that kind of stuff for,
No, I to your point, I could agree with that from a business standpoint, but in contrast, and from an also business perspective, Nintendo has proven data that their their American market are flip-floppers. They have proof of that. And the biggest proof I can give you of that is Smash Brothers. How many people were saying Smash is not that big of a game at E3, but as soon as Simon Belmont, Victor Belmont, Dark Samus, Chrome, and King K. Rool were announced that Smash Direct, all of a sudden now, all your favorite YouTubers who are against it are, oh my gosh, this is the biggest Smash of all time now. I mean, and now they're on board. Now they're on board. So
but now you're just giving ammo to the flip-floppers that, like, oh, see, they're not listening. They're going to stop us from having cloud saves on all of these games, only some of them.
But here's the thing. Nintendo is just proven time and time again. If Nintendo has shown that they have shown all the way that they listen to people with the Switch. And it's like, the minute they make a mistake, it's like, they get double backslapped. They don't even get like, hey, maybe we should do. They get double backslapped every single time. They do some.
To be fair on that note, though, you can't have one generation of, oh, we listen to you guys, we take your feedback, we fix it, compared to 20 years of not doing that
20 years
and expect it to be okay.
Okay, so if you want to
from
go
the NES all the way into the Switch, and anyone who's a Nintendo fan can back this, Nintendo just did whatever they wanted as long as they felt that it was okay.
I would say your argument is really valid. You say 20 years, that's fair enough. Be over 20 years from the N64 till now, because you're right. And with the N64 till now, they were stubborn with the game cartridges that caused us not have Final Fantasy VII on a Nintendo console. To your point, I get you. But in that same regard, moving forward, Nintendo has shown that, hey, we can start from nothing and we can start with something something that's really dry, and in 1 year time, make it one of the best. Nintendo has done that with the Switch. Real talk, if I want to be completely objective, the Nintendo Switch had arguably the stalest launch out of all their consoles. But yet it's the best-selling console, the best-selling debut console of all time. So who's to say that with the Nintendo Switch Online service having a stale launch in 1 year's time, it won't be way more worth than the value that they're asking for?
But again, that's not the point. The point is at this exact moment, yeah, they had a successful launch, and now they're listening to the audience and they're trying to get things fixed. But in a history of not doing that, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're releasing this internet stuff, right? We're going to charge for it now. We're not going to give a lot of details about it, but just know that it doesn't have all of the things that you like in an online market. Oh, also, here's a phone app. And then now all of a sudden it's like, oh, and some of the games that you really like don't have cloud saves because we can't figure out a way to make them safe from hackers. It's hard, it's that same concept of like, as a parent, right? If your child smacks the other one repeatedly, and no matter what you do, continues doing it, and then the one time that you're like, hey, stop, and they do, you're still going to expect them to not listen the next time because they have a history of that happening. It's the same thing with Nintendo here.
I get that.
Not listening to us with what we want. And then we want online. Okay, we're going to give you online. We want voice chat. Here's a phone app.
I would say the phone app, there's more to it than that phone app that I think people should be a little bit more patient on. There is more to it. It even says on the website, extra features on
I don't want a phone app. My kids can't use a phone app.
The kids can't use the phone app? Okay, you're looking at this from a very linear standpoint.
No, I'm looking at it from a regular standpoint. I want to be able to use a headset.
No. Let me break back this with the phone app. Let me ask you a question. Are you in contact with all of your gamer friends that you've added to your Switch? Do you have all their personal contacts?
No, not at all.
Exactly. Me neither. So the phone app could be a real bridging point where you could contact that person, and you don't have to have
completely fair, I probably don't want to talk to them outside of gaming anyway.
Okay, so that's you. Now what about the vast majority who online game? Do you think that'll be an asset?
Not through a phone app.
Not through the phone app. So not through the phone app of contacting other gamers on the phone without using your cell phone, using my cell phone to contact other gamers. Because remember, we're looking at this from only a home console standpoint, where everyone's saying Discord. Yes, even though Discord has a phone app available as well, sometimes using Discord as the phone app, which I use it quite a bit, it gets a little clunky sometimes. So
right, and Discord has been designed by professionals to do that one job. Nintendo's second-handing this.
Okay, but at the same time, once it comes out, then we can do a fair comparison. But let's not derail. Sure. Let's not derail. I want to get back to one of the points that you.
I don't even remember what we were talking about. So
I do. So my whole point is, I get what you're saying. I get your concerns about, Nintendo has a whole history of just not listening to the general consumer. I get that. And, you're right. When it comes to the cloud saves, they should have given more. But at this standpoint,
or nothing at all is the point.
Or nothing at all. You're right. From that business standpoint, I could agree with you. It wasn't the best business move. But as well as even your wife mentioned, who is Nintendo's first primary demographic?
Well, kids, yeah.
Kids, yeah.
Not just kids, not kids. What region?
Japan.
Exactly. Now, can we find...
Did you just quiz me? Knock it off.
Okay. That wasn't intentional. My bad.
That was. I'm gonna ask a question and then wait for you to answer. Do not Dora the Explorer me, all right?
But my bad. Don't stab me. Anyway, well, now I lost my train of thought because you threw me off.
Success. All right, Andrew, your turn. Bye, Evan.
Well, I'm over here arguing with KAG about football, and he knows better, man. I'm about to ban this man from the chat because I need to focus on podcast over here. I'm focusing on talking about football.
You talk sports ball in the chat here.
Gosh, man, we ain't doing this. Done.
But seriously, Skids, though, I get your point, and honestly, they shouldn't have done nothing at all. But Nintendo's primary demographic, if they are not complaining about this, if it's working more for their primary demographic, and if they have a history with their Western demographic flip-flopping and they don't know what they want, and that's the truth. A lot of Nintendo fans don't know what they want as consumers.
And I get that. And their primary, like you said, Japan's primary, they're used to being on the go. They're used to being mobile. Mm-hmm. You know, they use their phone for everything anyway. So it makes sense in that sense. But they do have a major market and demographic here in the US, and they need to be attentive to that too.
They do, and that's where I would say this is where Reggie, in my opinion, Reggie's president of Nintendo of America. This is where I say Reggie needs to make it a better point to say we need local backups right away. If anything, I would say cloud saves should not be the argument. It should be local backups. Free local backups, might I add, for free local backups for every single game for your Nintendo Switch that can be put onto your SD card. That should be the main focus, because games like NBA 2K18, someone check for 19 for me, but I know for 2K18, the save file is 5 gigs. That's why I didn't buy the game. I didn't buy the game.
There's no point to that. That's
2K19 is bigger than that.
Yeah,
I think it's bigger than. I think it's just almost bigger than what Wolfenstein was.
Yeah.
So think about it that way. No, like I'm talking about the save. I'm talking about the game file. I'm talking about the actual save file that you can't get off your Switch.
It's probably about the same.
The save file was 5 gigs. That is something that should be locally backed up. That shouldn't have to do a cloud saves. Because one of the things about cloud saves, think about these games for the Nintendo Switch that are like 10, 15, 16, 20, 30 gigs long. You are trying to cloud back up these games. Because if you want to think about it, the one-player games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, those include cloud backup storage. And those are like 15 gigs plus with their DLC counterparts attached to it. So
I just want the ability. I should be able to plug in an external hard drive at this point.
Exactly. If I
have access to it physically here right now, I should be able to port all of the data over to my like a USB or a card and just have it stored that way. There's no reason for that, because the cloud save argument works. Cloud save argument works for the hackers and stuff, but local backup,
there's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
You could back up. You could back up locally on the Wii, so there's no excuse that Nintendo can't do this. Like I don't understand why there's no like saves for locally. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, so Skids and I, we see eye to eye on that. we see eye to eye on that 100%.
So
Skids about to clothesline me.
All I'm saying is
I don't like being quizzed.
In my opinion, right now, it's just, for me personally, I can't really say too much because you kind of debunked everything, saying we have to wait a little bit. The reason they gave was legitimate, but at the same time, like, it doesn't look good, at least for me anyway. TG Lopez, what's going on, man? What's going on? Like, it just doesn't look good, and I hope that they are able to fix it in order to give us more cloud saves for these games, or even, like you guys said, local backups.
Local.
Because we need some sort of backup.
I would prefer local over cloud anyway.
Oh, same here. Because if Nintendo has a problem with their like servers or something, then they all just
I mean, let's be fair.
Somehow.
I don't know about you guys, but I still have like, I don't know, 15 or 20 PlayStation and PlayStation 2 memory cards sitting around here, all with games still on it. I have no problem starting that all over again.
Hey, I mean, give us a special USB we can plug into the dock or something. I know it's docked. I know why they're going cloud, because not everybody has a dock. They're selling Switches without the dock, so not everybody has a
should just
dock.
have a dock at this point.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I get why they're doing it. But at the same time, just give me a able to use an
should be
external
an
hard drive,
option.
or make your own external USB. I don't care. Just give me some way to back it up locally. So let's move on to this next juicy topic, and this one.
Hold on, did Andrew get to talk about any of this?
Oh, Andrew, go ahead. Go ahead. My bad, bro.
We haven't yelled at each other for 20 minutes.
That's okay. Yeah, like as I said, just
It's what
like
family does.
like it dates back all the way to the Wii. You could back up your saves on an SD card. So why can't Nintendo do it now on the micro SD on the Switch? It's just frustrating because you have all these systems that you're going back to, like Xbox, PS3, like even like PS2, like back up on the physical memory card. So it doesn't make any sense to me as you can't back up your physical saves. I mean, your saves on a physical like media.
I want a physical save. I want to be able to hold a save in my hand constantly.
Yeah.
Save.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's move on to
Nick,
this.
if you don't get out of the sports ball stuff in the chat, dude, I'm going to come after you, I swear.
Look, let's move on to. Well, I mean, we're moving on to the sports here.
Have some self-control.
All right, so we're moving on to the next topic. So this topic is it's really aggravating to me because I have been a fan of NBA 2K franchise since 2K12. 2K13 was the year that they introduced VC, which, if you know what VC is, it's a virtual currency. It is what you need and how you are able to upgrade your player, purchase clothing, pretty much everything in the game exists around VC. You can earn VC or you can purchase VC if you would like. Last year's game was so bad in NBA 2K, so bad that people were like, it almost cost you the same amount of money to buy the game to get your character to level 88, which to believe was the point that you could actually be relevant. And even then, it was still hard in the game. Like they pretty much rigged the game to where you had to buy VC and participate in microtransactions to be relevant or good at the game. It was awful. Ask Salty. Salty's in the chat. He knows. Like, it was possibly the worst thing ever. And so,
if we can count on Saltiest Gaming to be anything, it's salty about it.
yeah, he knows. But anyway, Rob Jones from 2K was discussing the VC, and he pretty much said that microtransactions are, quote unquote, an unfortunate reality of gaming now. Not only that, 2K also, if y'all don't know anything about the whole microtransaction and the loot box controversy that happened last year, where certain countries banned loot boxes in Belgium, and they declared it as gambling. So 2K told players in Belgium to contact their government to reinstate loot boxes for 2K19 specifically. This just man.
I know it's
What do you say towards that,
bro?
They contacted their government so they could get the basketball games.
It's
to play b-ball.
Oh my gosh, man! It baffles me, dude, that they are trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes and say, "Oh, this is the only way to play the game. The best way to play the game, the best experience is for you to be able to purchase VC, get VC. It'll help you guys out. That's the best way to experience the game." And the fact that this company's out here is just saying microtransactions are a permanent thing, and oh my gosh, dude, it really does hack me off, dude. You don't even understand. Like, I have spent so many years playing NBA 2K, that this irks me so much, and I hate the fact that companies such as this, and even EA for a while, they was talking about how this was the future of gaming, monetizing games and microtransactions were the future of gaming. And with the loot box debacle, like, that sort of caused EA to back off a little bit. But seeing 2K come out with this just hacks me off. What do you guys think about this? Let's Skits, you start first, man. I'm just
all right, cool, because I've been waiting for this topic.
So, not the one before?
No, actually, I didn't have it and got me started on that one. This is the topic I was interested in.
I'm actually waiting for it, so I'll go after you.
So we look at the idea that this is just basically what they're saying. This is just how gaming is now. And the reason the gaming is this way now is because the companies make it happen and the players accept it. What happened when nobody jumped on the train with EA for Battlefront?
They lost.
Right, they backed off. They kind of were like, all right, we'll fix some stuff. I mean, they brought it all back after the game launched and everyone bought it anyway. But
true.
You know, it was a step in the right direction, and then it faltered. If all of those people who bought it anyway were like, oh, well, we're not going to play it anymore, and they stopped seeing the transactions come in, they would again correct it. Now, I personally have no issue with virtual currency or loot boxes, right? Or paying to get decorative items, right? And most of you guys know, like, I'm a huge Overwatch player. And I do the loot boxes in that. Sometimes I buy the loot boxes if I get close to the end of a season and I want a skin. My issue is with the pay to win aspect of this. And, you know, 2K, especially this last one, it was very clearly pay to win, you know? And, Ed, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they used to be free. And for things like Overwatch, technically they are still free. You do not have to purchase the loot boxes. You can just play, and eventually you will get them. Period. That's just how it works. In the you can buy them if you're impatient. Well, I'm an impatient American, and I'll buy them every once in a while because I want what I want.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. And that stuff, the cosmetics, that's fine. But when you can buy the level up, or you can buy, you know, the next whatever. I don't play NBA stuff, so I don't really know what you could purchase that would make that a pay to win.
You purchase statistics to improve your player, pretty much. The virtual currency is what you use to increase certain stats to a certain point, and it costs a certain amount. And the higher you get, the more VC it costs. Therefore, as you start to get your player to the 88 overall rating, and the goal is to get them to 99, which is the highest, it starts to cost more and more money to improve attributes. Therefore, it makes you want to spend money on it because the grind to earn the VC is so little. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's very specifically a pay to win mechanic. You can either grind out hours and hours and hours, which us as adults don't have.
Yep.
Right.
Or you can pay to get it and become better. Now, the same thing happens with a lot of games. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, one of World of Warcraft, which has been one of my favorite games for a long time, you can now purchase a jump level straight to top. You get a full set of gear, full set of skills, and you can play at max level. And like, that's completely unfair in a lot of ways. But with an aspect like this one, where it's loot boxes and virtual currency versus pay to win mechanics in virtual currency, like, we need to divide that, because there isn't a problem with cosmetic loot boxes that you can earn. Overwatch has that. You know, it doesn't have that unless you pay for it, is Paladins. They're two exactly the same game. You know, they're very identical in a lot of ways, but you can only get loot boxes if you pay the battle pass, which is $10, or you buy them with crystals, which you have to buy with currency. Overwatch, you just farm a level, you get a loot box. You win 9 rounds, you get 3 loot boxes. So, and none of it, absolutely none of it will increase your abilities, your kill ratio, your blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
It's purely cosmetic.
It's funny thing that you said, because you said you wanted to separate the two. You want to separate the cosmetics from the pay-to-win model. The funny thing is, in this game, 2K is double dipping. They last year they double dipped into the cosmetics cost VC as well, and on top of that, you could create multiple players. Right? You could create up to 10 players in 2K. Like, you had 10 slots to have 10 players. Right? Anytime in the last few games, if you bought one set of clothing or one facial hairstyle, like, you had to buy facial hairstyles, dude. This is how bad it got. You had to buy facial hairstyles or hairstyles or whatever. Once you bought that one in the past games, it carried on over to the other ones, right? In this game, specifically last year and probably this year, you had to buy it individually for each character. Like, it's getting ridiculous with what's
it's a money grab. It's a way to make their money back on the game that they develop, because they have so little faith in the game being good enough to sell that they want the people who do buy it to repeatedly spend money.
I mean, bro. This game, it's a mess.
And that's the bottom line. They have no faith in their game.
Yeah,
if you're putting microtransactions for pay-to-win mechanics, you don't have faith that your game's going to sell enough to make back what you put into it. And that's the big problem here, is they don't have faith that what they're doing is going to work. Because a lot of gamers are tired of the same thing over and over and over every year. You know, especially with like, you know, there's the diehard fans who will play the sports games repeatedly every year. They come out because they get new players, new teams, new this, new stats, new whatever. But there's a lot of people who like for example, I used to enjoy the Madden games. Way back. Yeah, way back. You know, late 90s, early 2000s, I played Madden like there was no tomorrow. Constantly playing Madden. Now, I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw the ball again. That guy's going to catch it, or he's not. And I'm going to win, or I'm going to lose. It's literally the same game over and over and over. And that's what got me out of it. And that's what got me out of sports in general. I used to be a huge sports guy. Any of you can ask Mercy that. I was huge into sports when we first got together. Football every year, baseball, loved it constantly. Not a huge fan of basketball, but I was into sports. And because it got so repetitive, especially in the gaming industry, now I don't watch sports at all.
I would have loved to meet sports skits.
Right, man. It's funny that he says that because he mentioned Madden, but Madden's getting bad too with the Ultimate Team and FIFA with the Ultimate Team, and they reset it every year. Like,
well, like that was I played soccer in high school. I played lacrosse. I played football. I played basketball. I've been on all of them. I just don't like them.
I did football and track.
Yeah. Andrew, what you got, man? What do you think about this whole microtransaction situation? These companies out here just trying to tell us, like, accept it.
Yeah, like what Skid says, if the companies are putting them out and then the buyers are buying it, basically, it's not going to change anything. Look at the like Xbox Live and like the PSN on PS3. Xbox Live you have to pay for, and then PS3 was free. But when PS4 came around, they had to pay for it. And what did the Sony fans do? They just bought it. So it's not. There wasn't. I don't remember any backlash. My memory is
there was huge backlash.
Sorry.
There was huge backlash, but people still paid for it.
Yeah, they still like your point.
The same people who are like, "Why are you doing this? Here's my credit card."
Yeah.
In the same sentence.
Can I just jump in and say that's kind of what people are doing with Nintendo right now too?
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
I didn't mean to jump in and bring that back up, but Skid should bring up a good point. It's like the American consumer, they complain while they pay.
This is ridiculous. Here's my credit card.
I mean, come on, argue the fact though. Everybody here who's complained about it, right? Anybody who's complained about the Nintendo Online is going to turn around and buy Nintendo Online.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Everyone who's complaining about like,
well, but they are, putting the fact that we have to play their games while having the service.
If they want to
there
play
is
Smash
that.
Brothers,
like if you want to play Smash or Splatoon, which is what I believe all of us in here are going to be playing, then you're going to have to pay for it.
Okay, no, for sure. Okay, so let's take a different example, right? So all of the people who are complaining about, let's say Wolfenstein coming to the Switch, right? The graphics are bad. It's a downgrade. Blah, blah, blah. All these complaints. Everyone's complaining. Then they went out and bought it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who were complaining about, the graphics are bad, bought the game so they could complain about the graphics.
I mean, I never bought it because I already had it on Xbox, but that's a different story. But
it's a good game.
It was a good game.
They did the same thing with Skyrim. Oh, they're releasing Skyrim again. Blah, blah, blah. Skyrim sold how many copies?
True.
I thought it was 500,000. I may be wrong.
The American consumer complains with their mouth and, makes it rain with the other hand. Here, take it all. I don't care.
We just apologize and say, here's my money.
Please continue doing the things that I'm complaining about. I'll pay you for it.
Abaddon, what do you think about this whole 2K microtransaction quote situation? Bendango, whatever, debacle, whatever words you use.
Here's my thing. Kind of to piggyback on what Skits was saying, it's disappointing because they made an arrogant statement and very untrue statement to say microtransactions is an unfortunate reality. And when you're going to say something like that is a reality, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They mean sports games, because if they're going to talk about just regular games themselves, then no, there are plenty of games that are highly successful without microtransactions. But for their sports games, I feel as though 2K, they're not the people to say that. If they were like a third-party company just on the come up and trying to make a name for themselves, and they need to kind of like find a way to get in to fit in, then I can see their argument. I wouldn't agree with it, but I can see their argument. But they're leaders of the sports industry of gaming. They have every right and every control to say that, you know what, we can change this whole dynamic. Saying it's an unfortunate reality is saying that most gamers want microtransactions, and that is a false narrative. Most gamers don't want microtransactions. In fact, console gamers don't like microtransactions. You know who likes microtransactions? Mobile gamers. People who play Candy Crush. Those people.
I can't.
Can I jump in real quick, because I don't know. I just saw Dumb Guy Gaming's comment, and I think that's a lot about what it is to do with it. Maybe it's not the lack of faith in their game, but they realize that the game will inevitably drop in price. Whereas the microtransactions, the constant reselling of items within the game, that price will always remain the same.
I almost walked off of my computer, not because Dumb Guy Gaming. That's a good point. But
Super valid.
I almost walked off out of furious anger. Whoever got that reference, good job. But I almost walked off right now, because if you guys were a game like, let's just say Mario Kart or Smash Brothers, where you release on every console, I can understand that. But you release a game every single year with minimal updates. What do you mean you're afraid the game is going to go down? The game goes out and you lower the game price because the new game comes out the next year.
Yeah, right. But the problem is, the first people who did it, it was successful. People paid for it, and it happened. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, hey, why don't we try it? Now they get the millions of dollars for the year of the NBA 2K18, plus all the microtransactions. Relaunch 2K19, that's just essentially the same thing, and more microtransactions. But the transactions don't go down. Even if you wait till 2020 to buy 2K18 just because you want another sports ball game to play, you pick that up, and the transactions are still going to be the same price.
As someone who understands business marketing, is their form of passive income. They just wanted a passive income stream, but they don't want to come out and say, hey, we want to make more money. That's all it is at the end of the day. It's a passive income stream for them, meaning that every time someone plays this, they could count on at least 1,000 or 2,000 players a month. And I'm probably lowballing that number.
You're way lowballing that number.
I am way lowballing that number, but just to give you a way, I don't know the numbers, but it goes to show you that that's what they're banking on, and that's why they're going to continue to flush out these games, because hey, we can get rich doing this. Now, I will say this: the sports game industry, they know what they're doing because they're appealing to a lot of casual gamers. And it's okay. Let me say this: they're appealing to casual competitors.
No, here's the other thing. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt again, because it just dawned on me something. And for anyone in the stream, including Nick and Avid, who are about to be offended by what I say, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
But
I'm about to mute you.
Who in the history of, not history, who in the American market are some of known to be the most craziest, attached, out of their mind, and willing to do whatever fans on the planet?
Sports fans?
Sports fans.
Yeah, I thought he was waiting. Like, you know,
I was waiting to see if you guys actually got like.
No, I got it.
No, because you're not wrong.
No. Yeah, sports fans.
Well, are you talking in general? Are you talking about in general, or the gamers?
No, sports fans in general. Like,
they burn down cities, of course.
Right. But not only that, but they're willing to throw money at things. I watched a guy spend $1,200 on a jersey for a player who didn't even play the team anymore. He was a retired player. The jersey wasn't being made anymore. They threw a bunch of money at it. you know, and so like that's who these games are appealing to.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You know, these games are appealing to that industry, that social market.
Okay. Well, then what? How do you explain the amount of money that was made in Grand Theft Auto 5 then?
Well, because that's being labeled towards college kids.
I mean, fair enough. But the point is, like,
but the point is, these microtransactions are coming bigger and bigger by the sports franchises. FIFA was one, NBA 2K, Madden. They're going from the sport. And what is EA, right? EA is a sports game franchise.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, look at the NHL series. They don't have any competition for it. They just keep pumping out the same game basically every year. Just people keep
and you don't
it.
hear the issue coming from the NHL games because they have a very niche market and it's not super big. Not a lot of hockey fans exist, especially in the States. Like, they're here, but it's not a huge thing like football or basketball. Mm-hmm. You know, you also don't see this in like baseball games. Is there even a baseball game at this point? Is there an MLB game?
Yeah, MLB The Show. It's a Sony exclusive.
There's RBI too, I think.
So check it out. It's not even. I didn't even know it existed. But NBA 2K, Madden, the sports fanatics for those two franchises of football and basketball are ridiculous and are willing to spend super amounts of money on anything that involves their sport.
True. And
also it's being done by the sports industry, which is crooked at best.
Right, and you know what, you got a fair point, and that's probably why EA tried to experiment with it with Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it failed because those fans were like, no, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? And they got backlash for it.
They're super nerds. They're like, no, we want to spend our money on our things that are Star Wars. I don't want to spend it on the things you give me for Star Wars.
Right. Which, I mean,
the sports fans are like, I got money to spend. Sure, let's go. Because what do you look at sports fans, right? The big ones, the big sports fans, they're college kids from wealthy families. A lot of times they're self-made. A lot of the sports fans that I know, outside of, you know, obviously there's a group of people in this generation that are different, but a lot of the sports fans, the major sports fans that I know, are older. All of the directors at my company, they're all sports fans. They all own Madden and NBA 2K and this, that. You know, they don't play games, but they play the sports games. Why? Because it's a sports game. All right.
Fair enough. I just...
Also, FIFA's crooked, so...
Well, FIFA, it makes EA apparently $3 billion, which is why EA went to Visceral and said, what's going on with your Star Wars game? And then shut it down because they didn't have any sort of monetization in that game and said, we don't like it linear. You don't have any way to make us extra money. Where's your FIFA Ultimate Team? Because FIFA Ultimate Team made us $3 billion. What are you guys making us? And they said no. That's why they shut down Visceral Studios. Like, this is becoming... It has the potential of becoming an issue. But I'm glad that we kind of shut it down last year. But it seems like they're trying to figure out a way to sneak it back in. And it's only a matter of time.
I've cut off 2 people now, so... Andrew, were you done? Avidin, were you done?
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah,
You kind of nailed it. As soon as you said the jersey, I had to go get a minion. I had to go get a minion to go join the conversation because that's just ridiculous.
$1,200 on a retired player's jersey, man. I watched it happen.
Oh gosh.
I wouldn't say I can't hate on that fact because if this was a different me, if this was like 2000 and
if this was a richer you, is that what you're about to say?
If this was 2011 Nick or 2012 Nick before I had children, and as a Seahawks fan, if they said, "Hey, we got a Russell Wilson signed jersey," I probably would have figured out a way. But
yeah, see, Nintendo does it too. Like, nobody considers the demographic that only plays sports games. They're not worried about shelling out the $60 every month that the rest of us are on all the other games.
Yeah, true.
They'll spend that money every month on the one game that they like to play.
That's a fair point. So we hammered that one down. So let's get something a little lighter, and then we'll have this last one, and then we'll bounce.
I told you I've been waiting for it, dude. I gotta eat it. I'm sorry.
We'll bounce out. Octopath Traveler. I know Skits.
There's actually 2 more. It's actually 2 more. Did we do the Pokemon one too?
Well, that was the Pokemon one. Was the cloud saves. It just had a picture. It just had a picture of Let's Go for whatever reason on the thing, but that was the cloud save one.
Yep, never mind.
Okay, so Skits, I know you have already
dropped out.
No, where'd he go? Okay, anyway, Octopath Traveler. We'll just go with the three of us.
All right.
So, Octopath Traveler, apparently, here we go. They were talking about the idea of a potential sequel. They didn't have anything concrete to say about it, but also they were saying that the Bravery series isn't finished, and they wanted to convey that message that the Bravery series is not a title of the past, and we also know whenever they had the 1 million and they put that picture out, people were saying that they were teasing Bravery Default. So, real quick before we get out of here, what do you guys think about this news that we could get a Octopath sequel, which I really do want, in the Bravery series? Start with you, Andrew.
I think it'll be a smart move because I heard, like, I don't have the game myself. I'm not really a big JRPG fan, but it's, from what I've heard, it's like a very good game. And if Square Enix wants to capitalize on putting out another game, then I don't see why not. And I don't know if they're gonna maybe put out DLC for this game, like for the current Octopath, or maybe that's what they're talking about. Maybe like a sequel, just putting DLC for another.
There better not be DLC for this game.
No, there's no DLC.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
no
not gonna be
DLC.
If they do DLC like they do side quests in this game, and we're gonna have an issue.
Skits is not a fan of the game. If you can't,
I am not. That's not true. I love everything about the game except for the side quests. And as a person who 100% completes games, it frustrates me to no end.
I get it because like this. You know what? No. Let me describe how Skits.
No, dude, one of the quests was ridiculous.
No. I'm agreeing with you. I'm actually
but it's like my dad lost his cloak because he was considered a traitor, but it's not true. What do you want me to do? Prove it wrong? Find the cloak, break him out, kill somebody? You didn't give me anything. I got nothing.
Let me tell you something. The side quest in Octopath Traveler. You know when people say there's lack of hand holding? Octopath Traveler is straight up abandonment.
yeah, that's abandonment, bruh. For real, I don't even. Sometimes I don't even mess with them.
It's straight up abandonment. There is no.
But see, like, I don't have an issue with that a lot of the times. But when you give a question, like, if I were to ask you, Avidin, hey, I need you to go down to the store because I need something, and I just left it at that.
You want to say nothing, what it is. I don't know which store I'm going to. And
that's not me holding your hand. That's me asking you a favor. Hey, I need you to go do this thing for me. Cool.
How?
Exactly. But if I'm talking to a person, hey, I need you to run to the store and grab me a soda. You can get a basis. All right, I'm going to this store. They need a soda. Oh, I don't know what kind of soda, but at least I have direction.
But what side quest is that again? Because I may try to figure it out.
I don't know. It's in the town where the priest lady comes from.
I'll go back to it. But
yeah, what do you guys think about the sequel in the Bravery series?
Well, the sequels are going to be great. I'm looking forward to Bravely Default for sure. I don't even know if I'm going to finish this Octopath, so I don't know about the second one.
Okay, guys, don't shoot me. I never played a Bravely Default game, like ever.
Get out.
You're not alone.
Hey, I guess both me and Abaddon got to get out because I'm the same way.
All three of you got to get out.
Three of us.
Goodbye. I just took over. Hey guys, this is now the Skits Direct. Nintendo's gone. Thanks for coming by.
I had a game, but I sold it because
see, now you really got to go. Start walking. You don't play Bravely Default, but you got Spider-Man on your bed showing up. Come on.
See, that's not as bad as my comment that I made Friday night when I trolled everybody. That which I won't repeat that.
I still don't know why I resubbed to you.
Ryoko says, hopefully Nintendo have been rightfully crapped on. They shouldn't be charging people for a service that doesn't work properly. She is salty about the NSO. We
don't even know if it works properly or not. Do you have it? I don't have it.
It's not out yet.
I'm just gonna stick to free games like Fortnite and Paladins and just not worry about it.
Look, I want to stick to free games, but I don't have like Skid said. I will complain about it, but give them my money at the same time, and that is my problem. That is my issue. It's a dilemma.
Listen. I will say this in itself. How many of us could agree that they could give us more than just NES games?
I do agree with that, and I hope they do.
I mean, Super NES games, absolutely.
And how many of us think they're going to give us more than Super NES games?
I'd
You're
hope
foolish if you think so.
I really, do you want to take you want to take me up on that? Because honestly, they said regularly that list is gonna be updated regularly.
Do you know how many NES and Super Nintendo games? They can update that every week for the next 10 years. We'll just catch up.
NES, well, okay, that are you talking about that still being published now or originally published by Nintendo?
Originally published.
Okay, so what if they don't do everyone's, but they go by the
What?
ones?
Yeah, Evan, I'm not going to do this with you again. We're not going to take over again. You want to talk? You want to debate me on this? We'll debate on your channel or something. I'm not going to do this on Nick's.
Yeah, okay, we won't do it on Nick's.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I think it's great. I agree, but no, I kind of agree with that one. Though, I mean, I think they have to add something.
Don't start with me, Nick.
see, thank you.
Let me hit that mute button. But I agree. But I agree with that one. Though I'm sorry, man. I really am though. I really do agree with them.
They don't have to give a look.
They don't have to. I just see them doing it.
I don't see why they would, right? Because what were the two huge market? Here we go again. What were the two huge market sellers?
Make it quick.
Recently, right after the Switch launched.
The two biggest market sellers. Oh, of course, the NES and Super NES Classic.
Classics. Everybody bought all the classics with 11 games on it or whatever. They spent a ton of money.
You actually support it. You're actually supporting my point actually because
they don't have a reason to go past the NES and the Super Nintendo because that's what everyone wants.
But watch this. I believe they're coming out with an N64 Classic.
We'll see.
I believe it. That's because honestly, believe it or not, the N64 was one of the best consoles to do multiplayers on. While many people say it didn't have RPGs, it had some of the best multiplayer experience. Yeah. Mario Kart 64.
I had an N64. To be completely honest, this is maybe a strange thought, but like I didn't get into Nintendo until N64.
See, and that's not a strange thought at all. So that's why I said it's.
I didn't play. I played the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo a little bit, but I didn't start playing those games until I was older and I started doing it on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I got you. You say that anything further, but that's my point. I feel as though it's completely valid to see an N64 Classic because once you see an N64 Classic, then it will further validate how I feel them to bring N64 games. Remember, it's going to be a subscription service. Nintendo said it's going to be worth it. So NES and Super NES may not be worth it all the way. If it's going to be like a subscription Netflix service, and if this is all that they're pushing, their marketing, because you guys follow Nintendo on Twitter, their marketing team has only been pushing this NES Classic game, these NES games. That's all they've been talking about. They don't talk about the cloud saves. They don't talk about anything else but these 20 NES games that we're getting. So if they're going to be focusing on these games and updating these games on a regular basis, then I feel as though that we could possibly see, as far as Super NES, we could see N64, and maybe I will stretch the maybe down.
If you want to be honest, like they can clearly handle up to a GameCube emulation, but are they going to do that? Because I mean,
if they do that, that'll be sick.
Maybe, but then they're not. I don't know. I feel like it's a pick your poison kind of option here. You can sell the games that are new that sell for high price because people can't play the older games, or you can have all the older games at a lower price and nobody's going to buy the new. A lot of the Nintendo fans are into retro gaming. Anyone here who says otherwise is wrong.
No, you're right. You're right, because it wouldn't be such a big issue with the ROM, with EB Paradise shutting down. That wouldn't have been a big issue. That wouldn't have made news if it wasn't. So I totally get what you're saying, but we need to remember something. All this talks about cloud saves and everything. There's one thing that people have been wanting for the Switch that suddenly went quiet: Virtual Console.
They can't even figure out cloud saves. Why are they going to give us the rest of this?
But what if this is the answer to Virtual Console? What if this is the upgraded and more efficient version of Virtual Console?
I believe you. It's a huge possibility. I don't think they're going to go past what they've already launched. So if they launch a N64 Classic and a GameCube Classic, will that show up on the Switch later as a paid-for service? That's possible. I'll give you that.
Dumb guy said, like, I don't believe they'll put anything past Super NES on online first because they want to sell
that N64 Classic.
Exactly. I do agree with that. I think
now it may come after each one is dropped. Like we'll get, because
I have a counter for that already. Online service, playing Mario Kart online, playing Pokemon Stadium, playing GoldenEye online with your friends.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That does offer a different service cool. because you did see them already show some online support for Mario Bros, which I thought was pretty dope. Dope.
Play those games online. Those games have broken up friendships. Growing up, the Blue Shell and the Golden Gun broke up friendships growing up.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyways, anybody have anything to add before we get out of here?
Patriots are better than Seahawks.
Get out. This man over here. Don't worry. Like I said, 2 years, 3 years, you won't be talking.
It's all about CFL football.
Trash, as he said. Either way, tonight was a good night. Tonight was a lot of fun. We had a little bit of a debate. We had some topics, and I appreciate everybody for stopping by, man. It was great. It was great. So before we get out, everybody's got to do their outro. Let everybody know what they're working on, what they're doing, all that good stuff. Abaddon, you go first.
What's happening, people? So this is Abaddon. I'm back to really doing a lot these days. And I know I've been doing a lot of gaming news. I say gaming news. A lot of reactions I've been doing. I enjoyed doing the gaming opinion video I did about the Nintendo Switch Online service last Monday. So be on the lookout for more opinion videos really soon. I'm going to do more of those because I saw you guys like that. And if you're new to me, if it's your first time seeing me, hit that subscribe button and, check me out more. Got more stuff. Got a lot of stuff coming up this week. So be on the lookout for that.
All right. And skits. Oh man, you know what I did forget, skits?
Uh-oh.
What's that?
Your homeboy, the game that we talked about. The Kickstarter.
We give that a shout out, huh?
We forgot about that, dude.
So you can do that right now.
Yeah, do that right now, man. Give it a shout out. Find me the link real quick. Well, I don't know if you can find me the link and the outro at the same time, but
I sent you the link in the private Discord so you can find it.
All right, let me just you give out your outro real quick while I look for it.
All right, well, it's Skits. That's me. My channel is coming back, but it's a lot of, DL stuff right now. I'm not doing a lot of stuff publicly at the moment. So instead of following me, why don't you all go over and check out Mama Mercy Gaming?
There you go.
Because she's coming back. She's coming back to streaming really soon. So, and you can see it in Nick's screen up there. He's Mama Mercy approved. That's who he's talking about. So she's going to start coming back and doing a lot more Switch streaming for you guys. And you can follow me on Twitter if you do want to find out what I'm coming up with in the future. It's a little ways off, but it is coming. And while Nick is still looking for that, I'm going to just verbally announce what's going on. Barry McCabe, who was the creator, designer, and developer of the game The Boogeyman a couple of years ago and The Boogeyman 2, is creating a new game right now. It's a space odyssey. Think StarCraft meets Mass Effect as far as relationship and friendship building, character interaction, and then a space odyssey type 2D fighting style. You control your ship, you can upgrade your ship, meet new members of the team, build your crew however you want. It's going to be great. He's an amazing developer. He's got a Kickstarter out right now. They're making a lot of different avatars and backgrounds for the game. A lot of different upgrades are already in process. I do have to give a warning. There is some adult content that can be turned on or off in the game itself. Nothing you'll see on that Kickstarter. You can turn it on or off, though. So just keep that in mind when you're looking through. Nick dropped the Kickstarter link in the chat, so if you guys want to at least go take a look at it, if you can't support it, at least share it for me.
Sure, and I put the link in the description. There we go. Check out those links. Check out the homie skits. Check out Mama Mercy Gaming. Super Andrew 64. The man, dude. First time on. Appreciate you for stopping by, bro. It was a good time. Let people know what you're doing. All that good stuff. Everybody's links are in the description as well, so all their channels are there if you click on the links there. But Super Andrew, go ahead. Let them know. Oh no, he's muted. You're muted, bro. He did it. It's all good, bro.
Oh god, that just shows my rookie mistake.
Hey, it happened to me last week, and I've been on this show all the time.
Okay, what I said is that thanks for having me on the stream, Nick. I had a really good time. On my channel, I'm actually close to 100 subscribers, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers. I haven't told anyone yet, so you're the first to know here. I like to do retro, modern, let's plays, like product reviews, just a bit of everything. As for content coming up, I have to look in my notebook and see what's next on the list. I've just been pretty busy with other things. I have posted quite a few videos this week, so if you want to check out my channel, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Right. All right. There you go. Check everybody out on the panel.
All right, real quick before we cut out, though, Nick has made a promise to me that he is going to play a horror game coming up here pretty soon. I'm getting him the equipment to make sure it happens, and I'm going to put this live on blast for you, Nick. I am sending him a computer to make sure that he can play these games for you guys, including this very first horror game that I got for him with this PC. So Boogeyman is coming to this stream live for you guys via skits. It's gonna happen.
Why you gotta do that, man? Why you gotta do that, man? Oh man. Oh.
I already got you the code. You've already got it in Steam. Now I'm just sending you the computer to make sure it happens, and you guys are gonna help me hold him to it. Avid, and I'm counting on you because Nick listens to you a lot. He needs to be held to this.
Nick, you're streaming it.
Promised this.
Nick,
I'm making sure he's getting a
man of your word.
I'm making sure he's getting the game. I took care of everything.
Nick. I'll say that right now. We'll make a solid right now, Nick. If you don't do it,
I'm doing it. Okay,
you'll be banned from the podcast if you don't.
I'm doing it. Okay, I'm gonna do it. All right. Here's the deal, man. I played Hollow, which now that I think about it, wasn't that scary of a game.
That's not even scary comparatively speaking.
It dreaded it, but the dread, I can't deal with the dread. And then my wife, live on stream, decided to scare me.
Oh man, I gotta go look for that stream.
Oh my gosh,
dude, you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be a good heart pumping time.
I don't want my heart pumping, bro. I don't.
Oh, dude, it's gotta be pumping. Dude, look, I did the trailer for the game. I did the original trailer. And I had a hard time.
Yo, guys, you know what? I got one for you guys. Nick, tonight, are you streaming tonight, Nick, or no? You gotta go to bed, right?
To bed after this.
I forgot. You got.
I am not liable for any health issues, heart attack problems that may come from this game.
So, Nick,
liability on that falls back to Nick's desire to go ahead and do this for me.
Nick, tomorrow night, I got a game request for you to stream.
Oh.
5 Nights at Freddy's.
Man. But that's different though. I've watched people play that. That just goes on rhythm, clicking here, clicking there. I think I can figure that one out. But
I'm glad you feel that way. Good. Now that you're confident, go ahead and do it.
You have it?
I don't got it. I don't have it.
All right, I'm gonna link you as a Steam friend, and I have all of them.
Oh, good luck.
Enough about me and these horror streams. This is Nicktendo Direct. You guys are here. You guys are here. You know who it is. You know what I do. Daily streams on Nintendo News. The podcast here on Sundays. It's all good. Love every single one of y'all stopping by. Love everybody in the on the panel.
He's making me do it too, and he loves me. So you gotta suck it up.
All right, we out the stain. The show's off the rails. See you guys later.
Bye.
All right, thanks again, Nick.